Hello once again, individuals. I am the Bagel Rabbit. My microphone's name is Sam, and you know what's cool? Flying sports cars. That's what's cool. You know what's even cooler than that? Taking a flying car and sticking it onto the side of a space shuttle. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I am insane. So today I am taking this lovely flying car, putting it on the side of a space shuttle as I mentioned before, and flying it all the way to orbit and back, or at least that is the plan. Let's get this show on the road. I'm going to throttle up all the way, turn on SAS, 3, 2, 1, and we have liftoff, and we sort of bumped the very edge of that launch clamp there, but it's okay. We are now resuming normal flight and continuing upwards just fine. Now this thing has two solid rocket boosters on the side, which I'm sure you've noticed. It has a big Vector main engine, which I'm sure you've also noticed, and those solid rocket boosters drop off very nicely once they have been burnt. Look at me, I have good timing. And the external tank on that Vector take this thing the rest of the way into orbit, theoretically at least. Now this thing has some problems, as you can see, with going into orbit. It does not like being pitched down, especially not in the lower atmosphere. You may be going, this design is broken, look at all of the problems that it has. But the thing is, it works alright, and it gets into orbit, and I really had a very limited amount of time to make this thing. So I apologize for all of the insanity there, but it works, and I would say that that is plenty impressive enough. And we've now resumed some semblance of normal control, even though we are a little bit off of the mark in terms of horizontalness. I guess we're not going straight down at the 90-degree mark, which is what I was trying to say. I have no idea what I'm trying to say. I'm sort of exhausted, and you must pardon me for that. But we're at about 20 kilometers now, going at 600 meters per second and gradually rising, still continuing to fight with the controls just a little bit, but it's gotten into a phase of flight where everything is mostly okay, and where I can actually just sort of zoom out a little bit, take a scenic view. Good lord, that is pretty. Ladies and gentlemen, we're nearing the apoapsis, which means that it is time for me to start burning prograde and trying to get this apoapsis to have a nice friendly periapsis to keep it company. I'm not entirely sure whether this will happen. It looks as if it will. If it doesn't, then that is also okay, because this thing has some pretty nice OMS. And the periapsis is at 32 kilometers. I'm actually going to cut that there with about 170 units of liquid fuel left in the tank. It is time for the detach. Get ready for some scenic stuff. Scenic stuff! Wow, that is beautiful. Alright, so our external tank is coming right at us, and I'm actually going to just throttle up the OMS a little bit on this guy and pitch it back up to the normal spot. Go into map view, and in the time it took to do that, we've established an orbit. It's not a good orbit, it's 139 by 87 kilometers, which is sort of nasty, but of course I can make little tweaks to it as I go. And you can see the debris slowly falling into the atmosphere and hopefully disappearing at some point, and not just going around because physics in Kerbal Space Program is horribly broken. I guess it will have to go around. You win this time! Hey, I mean, we'll be able to switch to it once this video is done and just deorbit it quite nicely. So I'm going to even out this orbit for the sake of laughter and fun, and then that's still not an even orbit. Whatever, close enough. And then I'm going to go around once more, deorbit this thing, and call it a day, because I am making absolutely no sense. And we are now screaming through the upper atmosphere at absolutely ridiculous speeds. Poor Valentina's getting a bit toasted, but she still looks quite happy in spite of it. So, you know, if she's okay with this, then I'm okay with it. This thing has, of course, those rabbit ears of air brakes to slow it down, which are wonderfully appropriate for a channel like this one. Those rabbit ears, coupled with the many radiator panels on this dude, make it so that even though the re-entry bars, those heating bars, will get very high up, they will not reach their upper limit, hopefully. And yeah, it seems as if we are now going at only, what, Mach 3? Which means it's time to retract the air brakes and just pitch all the way down. Or do a little flip, that's okay as well. This thing is slightly unstable without all of the monoprop removed from it. And as you can tell, there is still quite a bit of monopropellant in this dude, which is nice. It means that you can do plenty of on-orbit maneuvering if that is what your heart desires. But that is not what my heart desired. My heart just desired to get this thing down. And so I will be burning all of the monoprop in a particularly useless way as I come down for landing at dusk. This is very beautiful, actually, very scenic. You can see the moon, you can see little Val just grinning her head off. I'm going to turn on the lights and also put out the gear. The lights will make it so that I can see the ground before I hit it. The gear will make it so that I can land, because unfortunately these little wheels, while they look nice and while they do provide a good amount of electric charge, are not actually proper wheels. They do not roll. I have to use other wheels for that. It's okay though. I don't have any problems with that. And sunset. Sunset on our little flying car. But there's still a bit of residual light here, and that is the light we will land this thing by. I know you're down there somewhere, ground. Ah, there we go. And now that I see that, I can begin to pitch up. Now this thing slows down exceedingly quickly, which means that you want to try to just flare at the last moment. I think I flared a little bit late, but there we are. We have landed our lovely flying sports car. I have a jet version of this that also flies in the atmosphere if you want to see that. This is a beautiful craft. I am sorry for my scatterbrained commentary today. It will get better in the future, hopefully. Have a wonderful day, individuals. Like, favorite, subscribe, and share if your life depends on it, and I will see you next time with more Kerbal Space Program shenanigans. Peace.